Man, come on, you already know what time it is. We gotta talk about Kung Fu Kenny's K-Dot, Miss Morale, aka Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's halftime performance at the Super Bowl a few days ago. It was incredible. There were a lot of things that I picked up on, a lot of things that I picked up on after the fact, and there were just a lot of things I was connecting, not just between the music that he performed, but also films and also books and interviews and documentaries, just a whole host of different art forms and different mediums that I believe have helped me identify the things that I picked up on and just putting it all together. So without further ado, let's unpack that phenomenal show by none other than Kendrick Lamar. This month, Kendrick Lamar won 5 Grammys for his hit single Not Like Us. That's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Grammys for his hit single Not Like Us, which leads into this performance, the elephant in the room, the big question that's on everyone's mind, which is, will he perform the song? Will he not perform it? If he does perform it, what lyrics will he change or not change? Will he name drop Drake's name? All of these questions were on a lot of people's mind leading to this performance, and obviously if you watched it, you got an answer. You know that he obviously performed the song, which we're going to unpack later. But the reason I'm bringing it up in the front of this video is to connect it to an interview that he did a few days before the performance, in which he was talking about how he's really trying to lean into his most recent work, which is GNX, which is, I feel like, a theme that was very prominent on that album, was to bet on yourself. And essentially, that's what he's doing and did in that Super Bowl performance. He leaned into his most recent work, and not only did he do that, he was able to connect and tell a story with each of those tracks in the grand scheme of the Black American experience. So with that being said, let's get into it. There is a reason that Kendrick Lamar was selected to perform at the Super Bowl halftime. And no, it is not solely because of the beef that we saw Kendrick completely manhandle and dog walk Drake. It had nothing to do with that. It's more so due to the fact that Kendrick Lamar is one of, if not the only artist, rap artist to his stature, to put on the type of performance that will involve all types of theatrics and interludes and symbolism, all of these type of things working together. And we're not even talking about the music itself, like the substance of the music itself. I'm talking about just the performing piece, the entertaining piece. There's not many other rap artists at his level that can equally do anything close to what he has done. Like, this is the same person that did this performance. So you tell me that you look at that and you expect anything different from a Kendrick Lamar performance at the Super Bowl. It's your uncle, Sam. And this is the Great American Game. That is such a chilling way to open a Super Bowl performance. Right from the get-go, it felt like we were in for a treat. It very much was in the vein of Black or Afro surrealism, because you're taking such an iconic figure in the American pathos, which is Uncle Sam, usually being a white man, but then using Samuel L. Jackson, of all people, all the history tied to him and the type of roles that he's played, but not only the roles, the things that he's done in his real life that would give a different account of the American experience through his Black lens. So to use him for this role and that be his opening line, and you couple that with the stage being a video game, specifically a PlayStation video game, y'all, that to me was an unforgettable opening. And that's just the opening, right? That's not even talking about the rest of the performance. So I really want to shout out Samuel L. for saying yes to do this role. I'm going to say this. Kendrick has a tendency to always drop music or snippets of music, but never like drop the whole thing. And that's because he's such like a picky artist, which is fine. He wants to carefully pick which tracks he wants to go on albums, which is cool. But he ended up performing like the rest of this snippet on that car, the GNX car, with him decked out in that really cool leather jacket with PG Lang on the back, which is his company, and the word Gloria written on the front, which is a direct reference to a track on the GNX album, where he dedicates an entire track to the love for his pen and the love for his craft. Kendrick said, man, him and his pen are like this. So to see him open up on the GNX and to do that snippet that all of us K-Dot fans are really hoping for to hear one day, was really cool. But Kendrick, if you're watching this, we need the whole song, dog. Like, we don't just need the song to be performed and then we don't have it like digitally. Like, I don't like that. So yeah. Kendrick says that the revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. I took this to go a few different ways. The first way would be, I remember him talking about in an interview where the Mr. Morale album was an album where it was for him to be super vulnerable, for him to talk about things that have been bothering him, that have weighed heavy on his heart, on his conscience, and he took that album as an opportunity to just lay everything out and to ultimately get healing and therapy and to just improve his mental health. You know, and so for that to go from that to this bold, loud, raunchy GNX album, I thought was a very interesting contrast in connection to this quote. You know what I mean? Like you picked an excellent time. I'm chill, but I'm still not the one to play with. You know what I mean? So that's one way I took it. Another way I took it is, obviously there was a certain person there at the Super Bowl in orange face, and he obviously is a very divisive person, and that is something that I think is also a way to interpret this line, because this was like, every country has a pivotal moment. Well, I would say multiple pivotal moments, but especially this one. And this is the perfect time for there to be a drastic change in the country. But unfortunately, the people of this country picked the wrong guy. He moves on to squabble up, woke up looking for the broccoli, high key, keep a horn on me, that my seat, IP, ownership, the blueprint is by me. Mr. Get Off, I get off in my feet. So he performed Squabble Up, which is a very loud song. And then you have Uncle Sam coming in talking about some no, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Tighten up. And to me, in that moment, Uncle Sam represent a few things. Uncle Sam represent black people that feel like that they need to cling to respectability politics. Like, you shouldn't have dreads, you shouldn't have tattoos, you shouldn't wear grills, you shouldn't talk too loud, you shouldn't wear hoods, you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. A lot of things that they list, and to ensure that other black people don't have to go through the harshness of racism in America, right? But ultimately, what those type of black people fail to realize is Dr. King was shot in a suit and tie. So was Malcolm X. Like, no matter what you dress like or talk like or look like when it comes to us being black in this black experience, none of that matters. Like, respectability politics won't save us. So for Uncle Sam to come from this position of you're too loud and too reckless, I took that, I looked at it from that perspective, but I also looked at it from the overall, like, white America perspective of how they, through historical record and even today, how they view black people in this way of, if you are not subservient and meek and mild, then you are a problem. And if you cannot tighten up and play the game, then there will be consequences, right? So that's how I took that. Something else that I thought was cool about the humble section of the Super Bowl performance was that the dancers were doing this like head bobbing motion, like dun 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 dun, which is a direct callback to the Humble video that Kendrick dropped some years ago, in which those dancers were doing the same thing. So I thought that was a pretty cool like Easter egg or like nod for like the Kendrick fans that remember certain aspects of his videos. I don't know if there's a moment in the performance that is more clear than the portion where Kendrick is in the middle and the two sides of the flag have their backs turned to each other. And I took that to be twofold, as well as I looked at it as America was built off the backs of black people.
The flag is drenched with our blood. Because you see, so many of our ancestors was killed because we have never accepted slavery. We had to live on it, but we've never wanted it. So we know that this flag is drenched with our blood. So what the young people are saying now, give us a chance to be young men, respected as a man, as we know this country was built on the black backs of black people across this country. And if we don't have it, you ain't gonna have it either, because we gonna tear it up. That's what they saying. And people ought to understand that.
But also, in this moment in time, the country is divided. But I also took it as not only is the country divided, but the black community also continues to be divided on a multitude of things. And we ultimately just need to come to a place of, I would argue, empathy, because I feel like when we lead with empathy, that allows us to put ourselves in other people's shoes. And I feel like when you can do that for the minorities in this country, I feel like the country would be way better off, and we wouldn't be in a position that we are in today. Also, another portion of the flag where Kendrick is in the middle, and then the two sides, the right and the left, they basically turn their backs on each other, and they like go in this downward motion where their back is up top. I took that to be twofold. One being that America was built on the backs of black people, but I want to be more specific when I say that, because to me that feels like a very sanitized version of what actually took place in our history. So I want to be very like forward and direct by saying that America was literally built off the backs of slavery, specifically black slavery. And that's one way I took it. I also took it to where when they're divided and their backs are turned to each other, I took that as, especially in this moment in time, socially and politically, that we are divided probably more now than ever. And I feel like the only thing that is going to fix that is going to be empathy. Because the moment that you have true empathy, you're able to put yourself in other shoes. And I am of the belief that when you can put yourself in someone's shoes, that increases your likelihood to be able to want to help them and make things better, instead of just saying, something to the effect of, you're complaining, shut up, get over it. You've all have heard it before. I really want y'all to just really soak in the storytelling of this performance, because in my opinion, to go from Uncle Sam basically telling you that you're too loud, too ghetto, which results in Kendrick performing Be Humble, right? Humble. And then to move into DNA, a song with a heavy emphasis on black people acknowledging that they are more than just pain and sorrow. They are joy. They are royalty. They are intelligent. They have more positive attributes than what has been historically pushed, the narrative that has been historically pushed onto who and what black people are, especially when it comes to us living and being a part of this country. I really love that Man in the Garden rendition with the people in the back with the locks and the grills and the white tees. Like, I really love that part. I don't know what I thought a different version of Man at the Garden would look like or sound like, I should say. But it definitely wasn't that. But man, oh man, am I grateful to see just that little snippet. It was maybe only like 30 to 45 seconds. But to me, it was great. Because right after that, you have Uncle Sam coming into the picture saying, "Oh, I see you brought your homeboys with you." That's the culture cheat code. Cheat code, not just, a reference to the theme of, the video game. But also, I feel like in the black community, we are stronger united, right? Especially black men. Like, we are stronger when we can lean on each other. And that's not something that is very prominent in our community, and it's something that definitely needs to change. But for them to all be clicked up, showing unity, and for that to be a threat to Uncle Sam, I feel like is such a strong message that I feel like every black man and woman needs to take to heart. They're like, we really are stronger, unified, and that is something that the system, that the game does not want to happen. That's why the game views it as a cheat code, because when we're united, there's really nothing that anyone can do. Because the things that we've been able to accomplish in this country, in spite of everything, is indescribable. Uncle Sam breaks the fourth wall and goes, scorekeeper, deduct to one life. To me, that was very chilling. I don't know about y'all, but the way that I viewed that and heard that and I guess internalized that was anytime a black person does not submit to the power structure, does not be exactly what the power structure wants you to be, you are at risk of very horrible things happening to you, including death. And for the scorekeeper to say to deduct one life in response to it saying unity amongst black people, specifically black men in this scenario, I thought was very chilling in a very direct call or reference to the things that we have seen historically and the things that we see today. I'm trying my best to accurately convey to y'all how fire this script is, because for this performance to then go from the scorekeeper or the power system or the game itself taking away a life to then transition into peekaboo, I'm gonna let that marinate for a second. Peekaboo, boo as in a ghost, like you dead, like you out of here. So to go from the game taking away a life and then you transitioning into like this ghost theme in the track Peekaboo, man, give him all the awards, bro. Like, that's crazy, because like not only that, the dancers around him are all wearing white, you know what I mean? And like I took that to mean two things. One, when we talk about race and history in particular to this country, the Klan will always at some point in our mind come up, right? They're wearing those goofy sheets, looking goofy, doing horrible things, right? And I know that as a people, we have the tendency to take horrible things and then take it for our own and turn it into something else. And for like them to wear those goofy white robes and then to see us decked out in white looking fresh as hell, I feel like that was empowering. But not only that, the second part to that double entendre to me was that you may kill us, but the strength, right? Our strength will never go anywhere. So even if you turn a lot of us to ghosts, we are still going to be strong as a people, because we as each generation goes, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Like, our ancestors are behind us. Like, whatever they went through, the strength that they had to go through the things that they went through and to still do incredible things that they did, I feel like that to me is a powerful message. And Peekaboo is probably my favorite segment of the show. All the stars, man. All the stars. We finally got them to perform that live. Those that saw the Black Panther movie, the original one, in the end credits, I feel like everyone was like elevated. Like, everyone floated when they heard that track. Like, it's just something in that track that just makes you feel like you're walking on clouds. You know what I mean? So they play All the Stars, which I thought was really dope. I also took it to be like a slight like Chadwick Boseman giving the flowers, if you will. It wasn't direct as in, everybody's wearing like, I don't know, Chadwick Boseman pins on their outfits or whatnot. But I do think that performing that was definitely a nod and a giving of flowers to Chadwick Boseman. So rest in peace, Chadwick. We miss you. Great talent, great talent. And yeah, that's what I really liked about the All the Stars thing too. I was really thinking about, me connecting that to the Black Panther movie and how, Chadwick isn't here anymore. But they performed the song and they did a good job. Although I don't think SZA's mic was on though. She sounded great, recorded, but I don't think her mic was on. SZA, if you see this, it's not a diss at all. I love your work, obviously, but yeah, your mic was not on, shawty. Uncle Sam pops up again. He's talking about that's what America wants, nice and calm. You're almost there. That to me, I feel like was funny, because America truly wants the black population to just shut up and dribble. Which is also funny because I've seen a lot of black people on my various social media timelines talking about that they just want to be entertained. They don't want all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Which then I also connected with Andre 3000 and his Hey Ya song. talking about y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance. Like y'all not actually wanting to like, you know, take art serious or have our culture represented on like the biggest stage in the world. Like y'all don't want that for real. Y'all just want to go up there and give you things that you've already heard and seen before. And to me, that is just so boring. But coincidentally, that's exactly what um, you know, the power structure wants you to do. And then Kendrick basically solidifies it by mentioning that 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. Like sometimes it gets to a point to where the BS has to stop. You know what I mean? Like it's a time and a place for everything. And I feel like in the climate of today, this is not the time to be BSing. It's not the time to be BSing, especially if you have the ability to shine a light on something within the culture that is overlooked or underappreciated. I feel like that your role as an artist is this is the perfect time to dig deep and to explore all of these things and push all these things to the forefront in a thought-provoking way. He really did it. He really name dropped Drake's name, looked in the camera, had the most sinister grin I've ever seen from a rap artist, especially in relation to a rap beef. Performed Not Like Us, pretty much did like the part of the song that Drake definitely did not want to be performed. And for him to like not only like have a song that's directed toward Drake, but like in the context of the storytelling from this show from start to finish, like it makes so much sense thematically because he's not just talking to Drake. He's talking about, the concept of Drake, like being able to just move about and like take from here, but like not actually like planting any seeds or like really giving any recognition to the cultures that he's taken from, from Atlanta and Chicago and so on and so forth. So like for like him to be seen as like a culture vulture, like the performance of the song wasn't just toward him to like piss him off. It was to also showcase to the world that y'all are not like us. And the us is Black Americans. Like we are a special group of people for many reasons. And that is something that I think was conveyed pretty well, in my opinion. While watching the performance, like I said earlier in the video, I was really just connecting, basically I was pulling from all of these different places to help to make sense or interconnect the themes that Kendrick Lamar was conveying in his performance. So from books to films to interviews, right? And when it comes to books, I was really thinking about this excerpt from the Soul of Black Folk about Dr. W.E. Du Bois, where he talks about, and I really want you to let this marinate, and then while I'm reading this, think back onto the performance that Kendrick gave. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder. And for me, honestly, I very much identify with that quote and the message that Kendrick was conveying in his performance because I often think about what is my place in this country? What does it mean for me to be a Black American in a space that does not value me, nor does it want to hear what my concerns are? But also taking into account that my ancestors, the people that came before me in this country, did what they had to do to survive. And not only that, along the way, they created beautiful lives. They did beautiful things. Like they contributed to this country in a way that I directly benefit from. But the unfortunate part of it is they didn't do those things by choice. It was by force. And it's just really hard, like the quote says, to reconcile those two things because I feel like we are, as Black Americans, we are always at war on the inside trying to make sense of our place in this very white majority based country. And to me, that is profound. I think about a film that came out last year entitled Sing Sing, starring Coleman Domingo, and where he is a person in a prison, wrongfully convicted, and he has this love for theater and art, in which he uses the theater program along with other inmates to basically navigate through a harsh world, where they are in a very unfortunate position, and they are able to turn that pain into something beautiful and heartfelt and moving and deep. And I think you all should see Sing Sing, by the way. But yeah, like, I just think about all of these things pulling from these different places about what it means to be black in this country, and I just can't help but to give Kendrick flowers for putting our story, our history, even if it's just a sliver, right? Because there's no way to pack in our whole history here. But just to, pull back the layer just a little bit, but for that little bit to have such an impact, I have to give Kendrick flowers for that. I thought it was crazy that, like, Kendrick was able to run around this field, dance, now take a sip of water, similar to like he did at the Pop Out show. So I guess him waking up at 6 in the morning to run 6 miles or whatever he said on Man in the Garden, to like wake up at 6 a.m. and run 6 miles and help his endurance and his breath control and all those type of things. Like, to see like that like actually pay off, I'm not gonna lie, it's very inspiring, because for him to like not take any sip of water, for him to keep up with the dances, for him to be in position for the camera angles, for him to change lyrics, for him to censoring certain lyrics, like the whole package. Like, I really encourage people who did not like this performance to go back and to watch it again from start to finish, and just put your I would say biases aside, right? I think that you should like watch it again and take it in for the show that it is, and then go from there, because I feel like it was a celebration of black culture, black history, what it means to be a black American, the whole 9 yards. To end the show with TV off though, I really was thinking that if he was gonna do TV off, which I was pretty certain he was, I was really expecting him to open with that, because those horns are crazy, bro. Like, I thought that, like, I was just so certain that he would open up with those loud horns, because they're so like infectious, like dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? You get the point. But yeah, so I was thinking that he was going to open with that, but to close with that, and then to end it with the lights saying game over in the stands, man, that is a performance, bro. That is a performance. That is the totality of what that 13-minute performance was. I can't see any other rapper putting on that performance. And the ones that I can think of, they don't have the type of mainstream appeal that Kendrick does. So I just don't know what else other people could have wanted. And I know that there are people out there who are crying about that they wanted Lil Wayne to do it. I also love Wayne. He's still in my top 5. However, Lil Wayne in 2025 is not the guy to go with. Hell, I would also even argue if this was, 2008, Lil Wayne still would not put on anything close to what Kendrick performed this past Sunday, because of the fact that Kendrick just has a different creative mind, man. Like, he's cut from a different cloth. And because of that, I'm going to give this Kendrick performance a A+. I very much enjoyed it. What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, peace.